Did you know that there's 2 different ways to create topics in Copilot Studio? There's a new setting that's in preview right now, and it allows you to toggle between the older traditional topics and the new generative topics. Let's get into it and find out what the difference is between these two. Now, the older style of topics are called classic topics. Now, these are carryovers from the PVA world. And what the topics do is they allow you to drive the conversation in a structured way. So if a user's asking about a certain thing like, I need help troubleshooting my printer, you could have a topic defined for that is triggered on that phrase, like I need help troubleshooting or something similar to that, or troubleshoot my printer. You'll have those different phrases that you'll be configuring in your classic topic so that Copilot knows how to recognize when that topic needs to be run through. So you'll put in those structured phrases, those utterances in the AI world. I think they're called utterances. Now, these structured phrases are going to be the signal to Copilot to know when to call your topic when a user types in a particular prompt, like how to troubleshoot my printer. That topic's going to be running through a structured flowchart style or Power Automate style decision branch, and that's going to control the flow of that conversation, what questions to ask, what messages to send, maybe, like I mentioned, what flows to call to get extra information. That's all defined in the traditional topic. It's defined in both topics, but that classic topic is going to have all those different phrases that you have to put in, and you want to cover as many of the different ways as possible that a user could express that intent of what they're trying to do. You troubleshoot a printer, troubleshoot a computer, things like that. Now, these topics are all customizable. They're customizable either way, no matter if you're using the classic one or the generative topics. Now, what makes a generative topic generative is the LLM. So think ChatGPT. In the classic way, classic days of the PVAs, which is the grandfather of the modern Copilot, you didn't have an LLM. You did have, obviously, conversational language understanding. So there was some AI understanding there of what the user's typing in at a pretty primitive level. Now we've got an LLM to use. We have, a ChatGPT style LLM that can understand at a much deeper level what a user is trying to express, what intent they're trying to express, what is it they want from you, what is it they need to do. And that's going to give us a lot more flexibility in a number of ways here. For one, you won't have to type in all those different little phrases. Once you flip this switch in the settings area under generative AI to the generative actions, once you flip that over, then you're not going to have any of those trigger phrases anymore. Instead, you're going to describe, what does this topic do? What does this address? And you're going to give it a very descriptive prompt. The more descriptive you can be, the better Copilot and the LLM behind the scenes is going to understand what this is there to do and when it should be called when a user's typing in a prompt. So that is a major, major difference. You don't have to define all these different utterances and then check the performance and then see, oh, it's not covering all the situations. Now let's go back and add in some extra utterances with a well-described topic, using that description in place of the utterances or the trigger phrases. This is going to get called with a lot more precision and a lot more intuition from the Copilot that's interacting with the user. So when you've got all of your topics described with that description, they each have their own description, Copilot's going to figure out which one of these needs to be called for whatever it is the user has typed in. There's a fallback prompt, of course, or fallback topic when nothing else really matches. So there's ways of still doing like a catch-all, just like we had in the classic topics. Now, because we've got a full-blown LLM, a really powerful LLM that's being used in our custom Copilots, we have other options as well, because the LLM is going to be a lot more conversationally aware, more contextually aware of this conversation. As the user's chatting with it, just like we experience when we are talking with like the official Microsoft Copilot or ChatGPT, we can ask it a question, and then once it gives us the answer, the next question we ask could have something to do with that previous question or the topic. And the LLM and custom Copilot in this example will also know that context is carrying over, and it won't feel like you're starting over every time you're asking it a question. Once you're done with one topic, it's not starting from scratch again, finding the next topic. There's going to be a lot more context that's carried through your conversation, making it feel much more natural and intuitive to the user. That's going to be really, really great for user adoption and just the comfort level that people will have talking to AI. As an example of that, you could type in a question, what's the weather in Seattle, Washington? And then Copilot will spit out the answer. And then you could ask, what time is it there? Now, you're not indicating where you want to know the time. You're not indicating what city, but it will answer with the time in Seattle because it knows that that's part of the conversation that you're having with it. So that type of context is really important to make designing your topics much easier. And even though the current, the weather topic may be entirely different from the time topic, the context flows through. Copilot knows you're talking about a city called Seattle, Washington. And so that's how that kind of stuff works. That's how the dynamic nature of a lot of this stuff comes into play. And more importantly, anyone who does have experience with ChatGPT will feel right at home with this, even though it's an entirely different type of AI product. They'll feel at home because it's the familiar experience that they're already used to if they've been using ChatGPT. If they've never used AI at all, this contextually and conversationally aware LLM will really make them feel like they know what they're doing because of just how smart it is. And by the way, if you enjoy this content, I'm going to keep creating Copilot Studio and SharePoint content on my channel. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button to let me know that this is your kind of video. You like this type of explanation. I'm just going to keep cranking these things out as long as y'all like this. And if you haven't seen the other video I made where I did a walkthrough of Copilot Studio and talked about all the different components, if you're lost with the idea of topics, if you're not really that familiar with it just yet, you want to understand that better, then click on this video to see more about what the components are of a Copilot, what makes up a custom Copilot. How does that work with the interface in Copilot Studio? What is it you're looking at in Copilot Studio? All that is covered over there, and I'll see you on the next one.